Alright guys, I've got a, 25-minute open challenge with somebody rated 1400. It looks as though she may be ready to abort. Where is she? Indonesia. Hafiza Putriaolia. Looks like she doesn't fancy the challenge. But we shall see. Okay, we are on. We have a Sicilian. Alrighty, righty. Let's go. Putriolia. Okay, so we're going Grand Prix. So this is the close Sicilian. And now follow up with F4. And I really am starting to love the attacking tactics that go on around the king side here. Okay, so now I've traded off my light squared bishop because she's moved her d pawn, allowing me to pin the knight and guarantee the trade. And now I follow up by finishing my light squared pawn chain. Knight f3 now comes. You very often play it earlier. Then you castle. Then it's going to be queen e1 and queen to h4 because the bishop has fianchettoed here. Sometimes, well, very often, I actually get pawn to e6 and then the bishop going to e7, in which case you don't want to put your queen there because she's just lined up for a discovery. So queen e1. This is a 5-11 game. Okay, we have castles. So I think, so the moves are f5. Now f5, she's probably not going to want to trade here because actually she's not played e6, which is quite interesting. So I think f5 looks like a good move now, and I think that in general the idea is to play f5 before queen h4. Now if she pushes, I can just take it with a knight, so I don't see anything wrong with this move right now. And one nice thing about the Grand Prix attack is that this bishop, this dark square bishop, just sits there. And what he might do, if your queen's on here, is just fly straight out to h6, you know, straight off the bench, straight into the action, trade himself off for that guy. And you see, I'm not at all concerned about this this queen coming out here. I'm not bothered about pawns on the queen side. So I could take here. If I take, I'd imagine it's going to be f takes. Or do I want to play queen out here, knight here, forcing this pawn to move? Then if I trade here, then the g6 pawn is going to be undefended. This is question. I could just play rook b1 at some point, but that's kind of losing time, you know. I really am starting to get into this Sicilian attack and just trying to figure out the ins and the outs and the whys and the wherefores of it. Right, let's play queen h4, yeah? I notice that there's a discovered check here if he moves the pawn. This does not concern us. I could stick my bishop on there and just de-encouragise that. But again, it's one of those things where, you know, deal with it when it happens. I could even just push d4. But that then creates two attackers on here, see? But then this creates an attacker, but then I can recapture with c, so I'll probably just stick my king here. Don't see any big issue with that. Nice cup of joe. Cock-a-doodle-doo. So, this pawn, this H pawn, is going to end up having to move, right? Well, in fact, I'm not really threatening mate yet. But I could Might push the pawn. If bishop takes, various ideas. So I think white quite fancies his bishop, her bishop right now. I'm not too sure. Really should stick that cockerel in the pot. Well, she's having a think, isn't she? G4, G5. To get rid of the knight. But then that takes away this square from my knight. Is this a move now? Queen takes. Then all I have to do is shift the knight, because there's no way. The great thing about having the queen on here is that the h-pawn is then blocked, can't progress. Then my knight comes in, and I'm just threatening queen just moving one square forward with mate. All I have to do is get rid of this guy. And then g4, g5 might do it, but my queen's here. g4 is met with knight takes g4, attacking my queen, which we do not want. h3, g4, g5. A bit slow. What's that about? What's that about then? Well, well, well. Do you know what I'm thinking now? Now that bishop's moved, I've got a fork. I've got a fork, and then I can 100% get rid of this knight. Doing it, not even thinking. Someone's playing too much blitz. I've been sacrificing left, right, and centre in blitz. Nice. I'm happy I've got this tension too. Okay, so she's traded off. Now there are two attackers on this pawn. I care not a jot. Queen can't take because bishop takes queen. And if bishop takes, what do we play? Rook b1, pinning the bishop, winning the bishop. So we do not care about trivialities like this. Still, we have this nice tension here. And we are loving a bit of Grand Prix action. I would imagine going to have bishop takes here. That's what I see in my imagination. But then I think knight here, right? And I'm threatening mate immediately. Could also think about sacking, like, let's think this through, yeah? Here, she's going to push this. No, I don't have that. G4 now. Pushes the bishop away. She still has this idea. But what about this now? Tradey, tradey. Knight in. See, if she takes and I get queen on h6, that's really winning because it's just knight in and there's nothing she can do. Right? If I put my bishop here and she declines, I take her bishop, king takes, I don't have queen g6. Can't put the queen in there. I do actually have this now as well. But that's not really the point. I am kind of drawn to this, back to this idea. I do this, she's going to push that. I take the bishop, she has to recapture. But also, if she pushes h6, she's in line with this. I just need to move the knight out of the way. Right, I'm going to see what happens. I think there's something in this. My next phase of growth in chess is to figure that out, rather than go, I think there's something here, is to figure it out. And then I'll be like a 1700, 1800. But I'm too lazy for that right now, so I'm not. So we've got lots of ideas here. Sacking the exchange to open up the king is one idea. I mean, this is the immediate threat. I'm threatening mate. So she's got to move the pawn. Ain't no question. And then do I... So let's say it's going to... I'm pretty sure it's going to be h6. She might play h5. Okay, h6 comes. Now, slightly easier to see what's going on. We've got the first move out the way. Slightly prematurely. Okay, I take that. She might still take the knight, actually, because then that comes with a continuation. Or do I just retreat the knight now? But where? This is problem. I take, she takes knight. That doesn't work, does it? I have to take the pawn to save the queen, and now I've just lost an entire rook. So my hunch is to retreat the knight now. Yeah. So I think I've missed the trick there. But then I've got two attackers on h6. She could still push h5. I think I have to retreat the knight here. This just does not... Oh, actually, pawn takes, rook takes. Hang on. Hold the front door. Okay, I take bishop. If she takes rook, there's no pawn on the G file, which is quite nice. No, I'm going to stick my knight here. I don't see it. I don't see the continuation. This is still a possibility. But now I have a very real threat of this. And then the knight can come back in with a forced mate. So I wouldn't be surprised if she trades off here. There we go. Okay, now the big question is pawn, which is the obvious one. It undoubles my pawns. Gains some control here. Or queen. Pawn, because I don't see any reason for queen. I don't think I want to capture here, do I? Nah. Pawn it is. Okay, she's still got this discovered check, but it's still a nothing move. And now I do have this, so I wouldn't be surprised if she pushes h5 now. She's a pawn up. But I still have this pawn if I want it. Okay. So my attack has floundered, I think that's a word, on the rocks. We did something not 100% right here. One plan is this plan. The old rook lift. Now the bishop is in the way. If the bishop wasn't there, I could capture on h5 because this pawn would be pinned, but it isn't. So do I take this now? Then a rook comes across, and then this, I've got queen coming back. I suppose it's always a thought, isn't it? Means that her queen now needs to defend this pawn. If rook here, I just come back and defend this pawn again. How about this? That's an idea. Bishop into there. Maybe a thought. Might even play rook b1 first, just to prevent ideas of queen taking on b2. Not going to push b3 because that simply loses my rook. So rook b1 actually gets out of that whole idea. Okay, now we've talked about this. Oh! Oh, you bugger! But I have this. So look at this tactic. She saw that. She saw she could get out of it with check, so I should have played king h1 altogether. But now I can block the check with a discovered attack on the queen. Ha ha! Ha ha! Oh, you sod! You're quite right. Oh, you bugger. That was a good move. Oh. Oh, man. That was a tactical sequence, wasn't it? Struth. Okay, I'm coming here. The idea of capturing that pawn. Well, do you know what? If she wins this for 11 points, she deserves it. Okay, what are you doing here? Okay, well this now, and I'm threatening this. She's gone back. She's on form. Girl is on fire. Okay. I feel like I need to use my G-pawn to bust through here somehow. I'm gonna get my rooks over there. I think she's earned herself a win here. I really do. I mean, that was good, and I just didn't figure it out. Okay, she's wanting to trade queens or win another pawn because she's up a piece and a pawn as things stand. If queen takes here, what's undefended? These 3 pawns. Can I attack any of them? Not really. This will be an interesting one to analyse because I feel like I've missed something, but I don't know what it is. Right, this bishop still needs to stay there because I have taken that. Okay, but now she's going to be gobbling up my pawns and she's going to romp to victory. Okay, do you know what? I'm going to resign this one and I'm going to go straight into analysis. I think she did very well. Good game. Good game. Okay, let's have a look. Because I feel like I should have had the edge. It all felt like it was lining up really nicely, but what, 89.7 with one mistake? Wow. I made one blunder. My blunder was this fork. Why? It's saying there's a discovery on here. But you know what? This is what I missed. I missed this line here. Right? If I'd have just moved my king out the way, like I said, little bit of prophylaxis, little bit of defensive idea. So it all fell apart due to that. But it looks from the graph that I didn't really have a winning opportunity that I missed. Okay, so this is all very normal. Okay, here it's saying queen h4 first. But a 20th of a pawn difference, nothing. Nada. See, another thought here would have been get my rook on b1, stick my bishop here, pin this pawn on the queen. But I was much more focused on showing you a wonderful attack. Queen h4 is best. And then it hated that. Oh, that's interesting. Look, it's saying here, should have taken on there. But I have to say, my opponent just played that very well. You know, the old fianchettoed bishop. Now, actually, in the Grand Prix, long castles, when they have a fianchettoed bishop, is an idea. But this was the key thing. So what I should have done is solidify my own defences. Like rook b1 there, maybe king h1, maybe bishop here, before going in for the kill. So there's a lesson in there, I think. Yeah, get everything lined up. I haven't even finished development here, but having said that, you can call this bishop developed, because it can take part in the game. But yeah, very good. But you know, hats off to my opponent. That was a really, really good game, and a load of fun as well. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. See you later.